Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast, episode 87. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How is it going?
It's national season.
It is.
It's happening.
It's full speed. We are not there.
No.
Didn't go to
I'm
Vegas.
at home.
Yes.
I'm tired.
It's okay. Yeah. I was about to say, you've been sick and tired. No. We've been busy with other things. But
we've been
very
paying attention.
excited.
And it's exciting.
It is.
Big things happening. Nationals US is going on right now as we're recording this. And we have two Briars in the top 8.
Crazy.
Does she go?
Is Briar going to LL?
Please.
Or Icelander?
Why not both?
Why not both? Actually, it's possible. I guess it is technically possible, right?
Right,
Icelander's a little further away, but
yeah.
She's getting there. She's getting there quick.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this crazy meta?
There's 3 Lexis still. So Lexi, still a threat.
Lexi's still a powerhouse.
Icelander coming back, a little bit of a surprise. I mean, we knew she was good, but
I actually thought she was going to dominate the heck out of this, but
yeah,
because she was in all the battle hardens and stuff, she was dominating there, which is where I was like, oh no, she's going to LL now that I finally started playing her.
So where we're at now.
That's why I avoided playing her for so long, because I was like, oh, she's going to LL any minute now, and then she didn't.
And now you're coming back.
I know. Yeah. I wasted all that time. I could have been playing her. Oh, well.
So we got 2 Briars, 3 Lexis, a Dromai, and 2 Icelanders in the top 8 for U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, Dromai is a little surprising, but not surprising. I'm assuming it's the red deck go burr Dromai.
I don't know. It's Pheno, so I'm not sure. It may not be. I haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet. But
no, you've been busy. I just got back from camping, so.
Yeah, and we'll get into what I've been up to later in the podcast. But wanted to talk about Flesh and Blood first, since, I mean, Nationals are happening right now. The other thing that, of course, I have to call out is these Day 2 of Swedish Nats and PTI Blitz in the top 8. There's 5 Kasais. Let's go.
That's not surprising at all. Kasai is really good in Blitz.
Is it though?
Yes, it is.
I am surprised because there's also a Dorinthia, and the Dorinthia Kasai matchup is very difficult. So I wonder how many Dorinthias actually showed up. 2, the Old Prism is a very difficult matchup. So I'm wondering how many Old Prisms showed up.
That's interesting. So, do you know, is it just all angels? Is that how that plays?
No, it's very much just Old Prism. They didn't lose anything. They have Luminaris. They have...
No, I meant the Heralds. That's what I meant. Like, just swing big angels. Swing big Heralds.
Yeah. And also create Spectral Shields.
Right. Yeah. Wherever you can.
And Bravo. I mean, that's a classic matchup. I love playing Kasai into Bravo. It's always fun. But I really am getting concerned with Kasai about the LL, because that's gonna be sad.
She's very close. She's already got 79 points according to the current website. I'm sure it will be updated tomorrow or maybe the next day, depending on time zone stuff. So she's at 359 out of 500.
Yeah. I don't think she makes it this time, but maybe next go.
In fact, I'm not sure how many Blitz events are taking place at Nats, because I thought they weren't doing Blitz because of the change in rules.
Maybe it depends on the country.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought there was no Blitz for Nats because that, you know how they were experimenting with the rule change? I thought they made that announcement that there won't be Blitz at the... Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's Worlds. I think it's Worlds. They said it won't be. Yeah. Because they're still trying to make sure the rules feel good. Something like that. Yeah, Nats.
Okay, so with that, I forgot that those had changed. It does make the Prism matchup a little better.
Why? Because you can sideboard something?
Yeah.
Like?
Poppers. Because you don't play any poppers normally.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Kasai, I think Kasai is the one who benefited the most from
having a sideboard. Hence 5 out of 8.
Yeah.
5 out of 8 Kasais. They're like, oh, good. I'm even better than I was a second ago.
Yeah, and I did nothing.
I did nothing but add some cards.
Yeah, really, it's just the way I have my Kasai deck built now is I swap out Sink Belows or Command and Conquers or Oasis Respite, depending on what matchup I'm in. And then those are the only changes.
Yeah. So I have a question for the crowd out there, those who watch coverage and read the news and stuff. Is there an easy way to see the top 8s and then little announcements about where things are placing for each nat? Because honestly, they have like this live coverage page, which doesn't have a US link on it. And most of the streams listed there don't go anywhere. Like they go to YouTube, they go to like someone's page, but there's no actual gameplay right there. It's not like a direct link to the specific stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just to like the channel, which is fine because some of them are probably off right now because of the time of day. You know what I mean? Like there's probably nothing to look at right now for some of them, but it's a little bit difficult to navigate to what the latest is. And honestly, I just want the breakdown. Like I want the meta, I want the top 8 list.
Those will all probably come out stuff early this next week.
Yeah, they will. But why isn't this live? Like the best place to find news on this is just Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's like, but don't they have a social media team? Like, don't they? Isn't there like a?
You mean X?
Oh yeah, X. Yeah, whatever. Isn't there like I don't know. I feel like they could make this a little bit more consolidated, like the live blog having details about that stuff. And maybe I'm dumb. This could be me. Maybe it exists and I'm just not finding it. So if you know where to find that information, please drop a link in the thing below, and I will watch it every time. But I find this every time there's a big multi-country event day, I'm like scrambling, looking all over, trying to find information. It's very sporadic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a way to look at the gym data, because that would tell you. You know?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet, actually. If there's a way to actually just look at the gym data.
Yeah, I don't think so. But
so here's a little hubbub.
Yeah.
There was, I think it was, oh God, I hope I'm not getting this wrong. I think it was Fab Metal Tokens, was hosting a party at Westgate. That's the place in Vegas where they're doing this.
Okay.
And they were like beer and pizza, and it was just free. So it was going to get crazy, obviously, because there's a lot of people there, and they're saying free beer and pizza, like piles of pizza, piles of beer. Apparently, Westgate said no. They shut it down before it started. I saw a message. I was just skimming through Twitter, and they're like, "We are so sorry, guys. Like Westgate said we can't do this." And they like hyped it for a full day, so like everyone was going to show up for that, and have like a little bit of a wild time. And instead, it got shut down, which is totally reasonable because there's probably rules around serving alcohol and such.
Yeah.
Because laws.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you should check with the vendor, the location before doing that kind of thing. But hey, sounded like a fun time. Sounded like a good idea.
Yeah. Other thing we've seen is round the table packaging.
What is that?
Which is Tolarian College's new product that's coming out.
Oh yeah. Is it like, are they previewing it there, or what's going on?
They have the packaging for it, which it looks like just one of those, those white BCW boxes. Remember how they came out with one of those that was for the Dragons for one of the packages? I think it was Nationals last year.
Not really. I'll be honest. Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
So those BCW white card holders, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, but all branded for Bright Lights.
Oh, Bright Lights. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, because he's the mecha. He's a mechanologist, right?
Yeah, and then it has the LSS logo and the Tolarian College logo, and a brief summary of what Round Table is. Round the Table.
So what is
Round
it?
the Table logo.
Yeah, what is it? Tell me.
It's the UPF product.
Yeah, but is there anything
It's just showing the packaging. No, it's just.
Oh, I thought you said there was a description of the product.
It's like cut off. It's like half on the picture.
I see.
And cosplay was nuts.
Yes. Oh my god. I did find an article on the US Nats. It's the live blog, I guess. I had to find it through Twitter, but I did find it officially. I found it through the official Twitter, so I guess that is the best move. Oh my god, what a great picture of that cosplay group.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Someone did that brute card with the arrow in the eye.
With the arrow in the eye?
Yeah, I forget what it's called because I don't play brute.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, they did some good stuff. We got Lexi, Data Doll was number 1. Lexi's number 2. Yeah. Shiana's there. Oldhim. Oh, that shield's epic. Yeah. Yorick, of course. Spears of Surreality. Yeah, Young Dash. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's next level. Cosplay has really gone hardcore. It's so good. So fun. So Lexi makes up the majority of the first day.
Yes.
111 players. Yep. Dromai was second, even though she barely made it to top 8. Someone was saying, maybe it was you, she can't close it out.
I don't know.
She's a good player, like she's a good hero, but getting that top 8, closing it out is really hard.
Yeah.
I guess there's just some pure stop, decks. Just say no to Dromai. And then Bravo was number 3 for representation.
Unexpected. Yeah, that's been surprising to me. How many people are switching to Bravo?
Yeah. Didn't make it to the top 8, did they?
No.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, I think
Icelander did make it. She was 4th, but that's kind of expected after all the wins.
Oh, wait, it's over? It's done?
No. No. Like she was number 4 representation for the whole meta. For the whole meta. Yeah, she was 50. Bravo was 63. Dromai was 73, and Lexi was 111.
How many Dories?
4 count. Dory was 18.
Let's go.
3 Arachnes as the lowest. 4 Riptides.
So everyone was represented.
8. No, yes, this list is huge. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 heroes represented. 20 heroes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's 10 prisms in there. 8 Boltons. So that's kind of the low tier. Kano's down at 12. Reiner's at 12. And then you're back to your... Ooh, actually, surprise. So Viserai is 16, but Vincent was 17.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm surprised Azalea's so low. Uzuri is at 26, so she's about mid list. And then your 5, Briar, Levia, Dash, and then Katsu, Icelander, upwards. So, it's cool. It's quite a meta. Look at that. Quite a meta. And Dromai making it into the top 8 is, I don't know. That's pretty exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's just Briar and Lexi and Icelander. It's Briar and Lexi and Icelander. That's the situation right now.
Please just let Briar go.
Well, once Briar's gone, what does that open up? Does that change anything in the meta?
I don't really know.
Is she a hard stop on anyone?
No.
Yeah, so it doesn't really change it. So then it's Lexi, Icelander, Dromai?
I think it changes. Yeah, I don't know what it actually changes. Locally, at least, because that's all I really care about.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Nats here, sir. Yeah.
Well,
this is a Nats discussion.
It gets rid of one of the high rolly decks. So it may push people towards more consistency.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which, in consistency, the slowdown helps. So Icelander.
Yeah.
And then Dromai and Bravo, who are both very consistent, might go up a bit.
All right.
I don't know about Lexi then.
I guess Dromai's good into Lexi. Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe it's hard. It's a hard matchup.
Yeah, Lexi's just good.
Yeah. I don't think Lexi really has a bad matchup. But yeah, I've heard both ways from both Lexi players and Dromai players. I think it really depends on what version of Lexi you're playing and what version of Dromai they're playing. So I'm really not sure. I messed around with Dromai for a bit. I never really messed around with Lexi seriously. And then, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'd be good matches because it's hard because you have to dedicate a whole arrow per dragon.
Well, that's why I was thinking Dromai is the dominant one on that, but I don't know.
But also Lexi can just pull cards from your hand.
Yeah, which slows her down.
Yeah, and all those pay cost things that rip a whole card
because she's red, right?
Yeah.
Like that's ice. Yeah. Ice is painful.
Yeah, because there's that. What is it? Chilling Ice Vein. That when this and any other subsequent attack hits, pay 1.
Yep, gross.
I mean, you're making Ash, but like, for real.
You only need so much.
Yeah. But anything else you want to talk about with Nats?
I mean, so just day 2 conversion rate was pretty expected, I think. Lexi, Dromai being top. Briar up there as well. Bravo actually did really well. Icelander was poor in the conversion, if these percentages are correct, although just back of the napkin math, I'm not sure these percentages are correct because the Arachne 1 made it over, but they said it was 100% of day 1. And there's 3, so it definitely wasn't 100%. So I'm not sure what that number actually is or how they're doing their math, but maybe I'm misreading it. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was Dashes in there too. Actually, surprising. Crazy meta.
People are getting hyped for Dash.
Yeah, I think Dash will probably have her day soon. Well, obviously with.
I mean, if it doesn't happen with Bright Lights, I mean.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because she's got to get some powerhouse cards there.
Yeah, you'd think. Well, do you want to talk about Bright Lights for a bit? We've had a couple offline discussions about it.
Sure. What do you think?
I think it does a lot of things really well, but it's going to be a very different kind of set, and I'm very interested to see how people react to it. I think it is going to be WTR level, if not better, as a new entry level limited set. Just on the simplicity of the new crack shuffle play format.
Mm-hmm.
And the ease of that. But then at the same time, and how LSS has stated multiple times that not every set is they're not trying to have people go crazy every set. They don't want people to feel like they need every set. And this one is, are you interested in limited play? Are you interested in Mechanologist? Then yes, this is your set. If not, you don't have to go crazy.
Yeah. This is a.
I think this is the first one that's really like. I think Dust Till Dawn was kind of. Are you into Shadow and Light?
Yeah, I was gonna say Dust Till Dawn was the first one to do this. Like,
but this is even more narrow than that.
Yeah. This is further that, and it's more obvious because I don't think Dust Till Dawn it was obvious, right? I think a lot of people expected cards for every class, and there was some uncertainty and da da da. And then when we got it, we're like, oh, okay, 1 card for every class.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if they do that as well.
Well, no, because it's not a supplemental, so it's not expected.
Right.
So I'm guessing not, just because of that. Because if they add class cards in with the mecha, that would be very weird, especially for crack.
But they could have like generic cards that are very playable.
It's true. It's true.
Like a Warbringer's Diplomacy kind of card.
Yeah.
I bet you it'll have something like that.
Probably. You're right about that. That makes sense. I don't know. I like the idea. I like the casual play format. Mm-hmm. I like crack, shuffle, and play. That was fun when we did it as a shapeshifter structure. Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole market's cooling in general. So a lot of distraction into other things, pulling people away from cards. Granted, it is summertime. That just happens in the summer, so I'm not too surprised. We'll see how it goes once the fall rolls around. And if a new COVID spike happens, which apparently it is happening,
Yay!
Send everyone running back inside and, back to cards and YouTube, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because apparently it is like, I don't know, the last week, the hospitalizations were like up 26%. So it like jumped. So we'll see. We'll see how that actually plays out. And if that has an impact on the TCG space, because I really do think it was a major driver over the past few years. I think everyone knows that. So how does that play out with this new set? It's the end of October, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like the 20th or something. I love the mecha theme. I like
October 6th.
Oh, it's early October. Excellent. That's actually exciting. That means we're going to get previews soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yay. I love preview season.
I mean, we have some, but
yeah,
not much.
I still want to know what the third style is. They haven't revealed that yet, right? It's just the Evo so far and Boost, right?
Right.
Curious what the third one is and how it plays. And then, we'll have to see how the crack shuffle play goes. I like the idea. I'm definitely going to have some. Probably do those as a Cardamajig, storm.
Oh, yeah. That seems good.
Yeah, it seems better than what I currently have. I think I have a Monarch one, and that's a terrible draft experience. So I'm going to get rid of that one.
It's rough. But cool.
All right, next topic.
Which you want to move to?
What'd you play?
What I played Warhammer Kill Team.
And how'd that go?
It was fun. Played old buddy from high school. Came into town. I was like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, hey, you want to play Warhammer like old times? And he was like, yeah.
Yes, why not?
So that's what we did.
Let's revisit our childhood.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We threw some burgers on the grill, hung out, rolled some dice.
Nice.
I had recently built and primed the Kill Team starter set, but had not gotten a chance to play it yet. So did not know the rules yet. But we figured it out. We did the first couple intro missions, and it's a ton of fun. It's very different. It shares a lot of similarities to Warhammer, but then kind of just alleviates all of the old things that I used to complain about. Like the games are much quicker. The turns go by much faster because instead of, hey, I'm going to move my entire army before you can do anything, and then you move your entire army, it's I'm moving one little guy, and then you're moving one little guy, and we're each taking 2 actions. So I'm going to move this guy, and I'm going to shoot this guy. And then you're going to move a guy and shoot a guy. Or maybe you move and dash. And there are only so many options that you can choose from. But all the little guys have different weapons, and you got to fight over. It's not just killing them. It's mainly objective fighting.
Okay.
So. Then there's all this like about cover and rules and moving and
just like Warhammer.
Yeah.
Nice.
But just on a smaller scale. Skirmish style. So it's neat.
Oh, it's fun.
Might be that, I don't know. I think that's kind of the direction I'm thinking about going, is having my one 40k army, because having 2 40k armies is just silly. Maybe one day. But I really enjoy painting a bunch of different types of models and not just the same model over and over and over again. So Kill Team allows you to buy a box, and that's your army. It's like $50-$60, and that's your army. And then you build those 10 guys, and then that's your army, and you're done. And so you can just grab a bunch of different races, because there's so many different factions in 40k that are super cool, and I'd love to paint. But I don't want to paint a whole giant army of all of them. But I would paint 10 guys of them. Kind of a thing. So, thinking about doing that. And then building it out so like when friends come over and stuff, you can just pick an army and play. Because it's all pretty simple. I think it's a very teachable game, which at first I didn't think it would be. But a lot of the non-teachable parts can be fixed by, hey, I already built your army, here it is.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, like how much army customization is there?
There is. So there's no points, but you have slots. So you have a roster of, you pick a team, and then that team has a bunch of different options. And then in those options, it's like, all right, you can pick, you need one leader, and then you need one. Then you have a bunch of guys, and you can pick a couple of the standard guys, one with the plasma gun, and like the special guns, the big guns and stuff. You have limited slots of those. But it's really not that difficult. It's very hard to explain, but once you're actually in the process of building, it's very simple. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it does. It does. Yeah, I guess the step too far for me is the custom army thing. If the whole game was just buy a box and play, and I know you can do that, but if that was it, if there wasn't an option to modify, then I might be more inclined. Because then I don't have to worry about like, well, I have a subpar army.
Well, no, think
other
about
person's army who built it up.
No, you still have it. Think about it like sideboarding. Like you get the whole army, and then for that battle, you get to pick which guys go in.
Oh, based on like the objective?
Yeah,
or what?
Based on the objective and your opponent.
Okay.
So like you're going against Tyranids.
So you never get like a single model to add on to your army.
Nope.
Okay. Well, then that is kind of where I'm at with it. That's kind of what I was thinking, where it's like, this is it. The whole thing is here, and that's all you ever need to worry about.
Yeah. And then it's just for that battle, you pick what you're sideboarding in.
Got it. Okay.
Or what you're leaving out, essentially.
Yeah, I was thinking it was more like classic Warhammer.
Because you can't fit everything, yeah.
Yeah, you buy like new stuff to enhance it or whatever.
No. And then so the new thing you buy to enhance it for this is another army.
Yeah, a different army or something. Right? Yeah. You see, I like that. I would that is the level of commitment I want.
Mm-hmm. And
which is minimal level of commitment.
And then something I've been teetering with, I'm mulling this over while I paint my Leagues of Votann for 40K. I'm mulling over the idea of doing Kill Team or doing Warcry, because I'm much more of a fantasy guy than a sci-fi guy. And Warcry is the Age of Sigmar version of Kill Team.
Gotcha.
It's also even simpler and in the army building and stuff, because it's when you buy the box, you don't have to make any decisions on you'll never have to buy a second box, because it's not what you see is what you get. But then there's more complexity, slightly more complexity in the army list building, but it's more for points. And then in that, but the actual gameplay is much simpler, because it's really, there's only one dice roll for an attack. There's not your saves and then your immortal saves and all these other stuff that you're rolling back and forth. It's just strength versus toughness.
Gotcha.
And it's very melee.
Like they're kind of quest based or something.
Yeah, and they even have like, if you want to spend it, because the rounds are short, right? You can get a game in about an hour. You can play like a mini narrative campaign with a friend where like over 3 battles, like what happens in battle 1 can give you advantages or disadvantages in battle 2.
I love that
stuff. And 3, and then so like in an afternoon you can go through a whole story together.
Yeah, or like multiple sessions come back and here's the I mean, I love that kind of stuff. That's actually what I used to do in Warhammer when we were younger. I would write campaigns, because it was my D&D group that we played together with. So I would write like a story where like, okay, here's the objective, here's the enemy. You either win or lose, and if you win or lose, you get extra points. They had rules for that sort of stuff, and I would take advantage of that and build out little campaigns. And then the other game that did it really well was Inquisitor. We played that, and it had a similar model. And then Mordheim, that was the one that really took advantage of it, which is a squad-based fantasy.
There's a big push from the community to bring back Mordheim.
It was so good. It was so good. It was a pain in the butt, because like if you fell behind, you were done. You were toast.
Yeah.
Like you would lose an arm. Things like that happen to your characters, and like you have to deal with the fact that one of your guys only has one arm, and that sucks. It makes you very weak.
A lot of
war fan thing.
A lot of the Mordheim players have gone over to Necromunda, which is very similar.
Yeah.
It's very much the actual RPG campaign Warhammer thing.
Yeah.
But
love that stuff.
So Kill Team is more like the competitive style of the skirmish, and then Warcry is more of the beer and pretzels, from what I've understood.
What does that mean? What's
so it's beer and pretzels is like you get together and you push some dice and you can have some beer and just not really care. It's just the rules are simpler and there's a lot less.
I like that. Keep it simple is better.
When you're the analogy that I've heard is like you play a really good kill team game, you're done for the day. Like you don't really want to play a second one. You play a really good Warcry game, you can't wait to just start another one. Kind of a thing. And they're also slightly quicker, I think. But for both of these, they have quarterly boxes that come out with 2 new armies.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
And then new terrain. And so like with Kill Team, the first set was all like above ground. It was like Astra Militia versus Orcs. And there was like high ground and low ground, like level normal ground, for lack of a better term, and then higher ground. And then in the second season, which was Into the Dark, which had walls. So you're going through all these different like passageways and stuff. So your line of sight is always disrupted. So it really kind of forced melee to be really good.
Yeah, close quarter combat.
Yeah. Yep. So there's melee and ranged in both, but I don't know. It'll be fun. We'll see.
Yeah, sounds.
They both used like a similar size board and similar terrain, so you can kind of cross them over. And there's some armies that work in both, like demons. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't know. I've just really been enjoying miniatures. It's been very fun and relaxing.
Yeah.
Not that it's related to cards. But we can go back to talking about cards if you want to.
Speaking of cards and tabletop tactics, I played some more Sorcery.
Yeah.
I am having such a blast with that game.
Good.
Meet every week so far. Actually, I was there. I felt a little bad about this. I was there the day the draft did not fire.
Yeah.
I was downstairs playing, and I went up after I was done, and no one was there. I was like, "Wait, where is everyone? Like, what happened? No, I guess not enough people showed up."
Yeah.
Which is sad. So I missed them. But I had a blast. I was playing Sorcery. We do 3 games each time, it seems, is our average now. And each time I upgrade one of the decks. So the last time I upgraded the Fire Water deck, and I failed. I like every time so far when I upgrade, it's better, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time I upgraded, and it still felt like it was the weaker of the 2 decks. So I got to go back to the drawing board on that one. I realized I took out the bombs, and they really do finish a game. So I added some back in. So we'll see. Got to get the big boys out there. But yeah, it's a blast. That game is so fun, and my opponent has gotten better. He actually beat me with the weaker deck. It was a very good game. We were both at Death's Door. And I had these like little tactical structures on the board that kept him from doing certain things. And it was literally, I was going to kill him next round, and he drew into something that did a direct damage. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I have options. What do I do? And I had a guardian to protect me. So in case he had something that he could swing in right away or something like that, I wasn't sure. And I could have moved it into a corner, my sorcerer into a corner to avoid any kind of damage. But it ended up not mattering because he pulled something that can target anything around it with just 2 damage automatically. And that was the end of the game. It was good. It was such a good game though. Cause I went from like being at Death's Door and he had like, I don't know, 12 or 13 to him at Death's Door as well. And it was fun. It was a blast. I love that game. So nice. Good. I will keep playing it because it's definitely one of my favorite games.
And beta's coming up, right?
Yeah, October. Mm-hmm. Sounds like it's on track. There's rumors from Distro that it's showing up, so should have it out at release day, which I think the street date is October 20th or something like that. So, yeah, nice. It's fun. Looking forward to building other types of decks.
Yeah, I do want to play some more.
Yeah, anytime, man. I got 2 decks. They're ready to go anytime.
Maybe we'll have to figure out a get together, and I'll teach you Kill Team, and we'll play some Sorcery.
Sounds good to me, man. You know I'm down for that. Especially if I don't have to paint the models.
Yeah, no, you don't. I'll paint the models.
Exactly. I mean, that's we've always said that. Like,
Yeah.
if you have an army for me to play, I'll come and throw dice. I don't like. It's just like playing one of the board games. What was that one we were playing? That was like a campaign. That was really good. Curse City. That was it. Yeah,
that's
like,
another one that I want to keep painting.
So fun. So fun. I love that stuff. I love legacy style games. I play a lot of those in the board game world. Throw a few extra models in there or whatever, painted models. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fine. Doesn't make a difference to me as long as I don't have to paint them.
Here's an interesting thing. Kind of a how do I say this? Comparison between desire in obtaining things for hobbies, for miniatures and cards. In cards, I'm like, oh, I might need this. So I'll grab it, like as sideboard cards and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
In miniatures, you're like, oh, I'm gonna play this. But I've looked at my pile of shame, my plastic pile of shame, and what needs to be painted, and I realized that I may not have to buy a model for like a year, John.
That's good. I mean, that's awesome. Good.
And I feel no desire to get anything.
That's the question. Is it you don't need to buy a model, or is it that nothing has popped your interest because the next set that comes out, what if it's a thing that's really cool?
Yeah, and so there is a new season of Kill Team coming out.
Exactly. That's how they get you, man.
And that'll probably get me. But that'll be a time where probably most of my dwarf army is done. Gotcha. I'll be ready for it.
Well, and you just enjoy painting. So for you, buying them to paint and just have them is no big deal. Like that's the hobby. That's it.
And then if I get to play it, that's a cherry on top.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's fine. Who cares? Like if it's something that you enjoy spending your time on, it gives you some zen moments. Like there's
absolutely.
I feel like there's no shame in that. That's exactly what it should be. You know?
Yeah. And the dwarves are looking pretty dang good. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Speaking of models, oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's the Hearthguard, which are these like kind of like the Terminator versions of the dwarves, and I made them all have female heads with mohawks, and they look super badass. They're all just so very angry.
That's cool. But yeah, speaking of models you don't have to paint, I will be at Nova this weekend.
Next weekend.
Playing X-Wing. I got one of the big ships, so you can play a campaign around it. It's like a co-op scenario thing.
Sweet.
And then
are you gonna be back in time to do the podcast? Is it gonna be a Nova themed podcast?
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm going down on like Thursday. So Friday's the main game day. Saturday we'll probably do the campaign thing and maybe play some other stuff in between. Well, I'm sure we'll play other stuff in between. I think Armada is going to be brought, so I'll be taught Armada. I don't really want to get into it. It does look cool, but I don't really want to get into it because it's just more stuff that's a different set of rules. Plus, I like the dogfighty feel. It feels good. I like that feel. Like you really feel like you're flying around in a little TIE fighter or whatever. At least I do, especially when you make the sound effects. But yeah, it's one of those things. That it should be a good time, lots of gameplay. Another buddy of mine from high school will be there in an actual tournament for Warhammer. So I'll get to spend some time with him. We'll do like dinner or whatever. So, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. 4 days, 3 days probably of that. I should be back in time for the pod without any problems. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm mostly Empire. I have a ton of TIE fighters of various types. And because they're fast and agile. Oh, and I'm playing what's it called? Like a battle royale style.
Yeah.
What was that game that? Hunger Games, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a Hunger Games of Star Wars. You start with one ship, so many points allowed, and then everyone's against everyone, and there's like random drops on the table.
That seems super cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm signed up for that. I'll probably do that. And then, we'll see how it goes. I've been going back and forth with my buddy who I'm going with, and he's helping me with the rules and stuff because I'm not super versed on it. He's like, oh, you can build this, and then that gives you that, and do that, and this, and that. And da, 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 da. So, anyways, I'm playing a very cool TIE. I think it's one of the New Order ones. I can't remember.
Sweet.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Be able to talk about that next week.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Randomly jumping topics.
Yeah.
Lorcana boxes.
Yeah.
There's no shrink wrap.
Yeah.
You can take packs out and then put them back in.
Yeah. The returns on that is going to be a nightmare.
Right?
Yeah. It was a terrible move.
I
don't know what they were thinking.
What does that do, though? But because it's still Disney. The cards still get out. The cards still have prices.
Yeah. Yeah. It just means there's going to be a lot more scammers around, especially with the prices as they are.
Yeah. People
will buy them. They'll return them. If Amazon ever has them, that sort of thing, forget about it. It's going to be a nightmare. It probably is fine ultimately because it will be fixed and it's not that big of a deal if it's sold directly by your LGS. You can trust them, etc. It's just where it's sold in different ways. Maybe eBay is probably a bad one. TCG players probably okay. There's a good chance of scams. That's what it boils down to. There's a good chance of scams, and because of the value of everything, it's going to happen because there's a high motivation to get it done.
We should have bought an Elsa last week.
You should have bought an Elsa? What do you mean?
Yeah, remember it was like $300?
Yeah, why?
It's like $560.
Yeah, well, and are you selling it right now? Because that's
I don't have one.
One
sold for $529.
How quick can you flip it? Can you get it back out?
TCG I'm not.
Fees.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The reality of this is like
it's all super.
Like we said last week. Be careful. This stuff is all going to come crashing down when Wave 2 hits, and it's going to hit.
It's early September. Yeah,
exactly. They promised it. It's coming. It's going to happen. So just be aware of that. That said, the launch days went phenomenally. Apparently,
people want to play the game.
Yeah, it is a game that people are really enjoying. And apparently, I'm hearing this on multiple fronts, Twitters and all the rest. Everyone's wife that never played a TCG is playing this.
Okay, that's dangerous because then
that's something. When I started to see that in multiple ways from different people, it wasn't just like one or like, oh, my friend's friend or whatever. It looked like I saw multiple people report that their wives or their friend's wife or their whatever who would never play any of the other TCGs not only played this but really enjoyed it because it hits their nostalgia.
Right.
Which makes total sense. Of course it does.
And
the Disney princesses they all grew up on, of course it does. Yeah. Lorcana's going to make a big hit in the market. I don't know how it all plays out, but
how long does that last, though? How long?
Good question.
Yeah,
it's a very good question. I have no idea. I don't know enough about their plans.
If it sticks, that would be huge. Because, if I was told by my partner that, like, hey, I'll play this game with you. And it's a card game or it's a miniature game, that's the game I'm playing.
Oh, of course. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And then, of course, everyone's teaching their kids, the people out there.
That's the other thing is if you have
the kids are all in it. The kids are all in it, but we said that. This is where I said this is a threat to Pokemon. Not immediately, but it is long term if it lasts.
A threat to
Pokemon.
If they put Saran Wrap on their boxes,
oh yeah, that's the thing. There's definitely a lot of ifs in these statements, but when the partner thing came out, I was like, oh, that's a different world altogether.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole new demographic of people that would never have played Magic.
Yep.
That are playing a TCG now. That just expanded the market for one in TCGs as a whole.
And we've said this is going to do that, and that's going to be a positive thing.
Yeah, but Lorcana owning that, that's something. That is something. So can they hold it up? Can it last? Does it keep people engaged? That's the big question. And that is really dependent upon the gameplay. I guess I should sit down and play a game just to learn how it plays fully. I watched the learn to plays and stuff, so I have a general idea, but I don't know how fun it is to play, If it does hold up and it does keep, the partners engaged sort of thing, that demographic increase engaged, do they eventually convert to other things, Magic and whatnot? I don't know. Because that has historically been the way, but it doesn't necessarily. Well, you know what you need to make that happen, and they're already trying it. Did you see the art on the what was it called, the fantasy sheet or whatever?
No.
For Eldraine,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, what a Disney style. They
Yeah.
have Disney style cards. Like,
well, it's also very what was it? Strixhaven.
yeah, the one side of them, yeah,
Yeah.
but the other were they literally look like the old school Cinderella art. I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
god,
yeah,
like it is
yeah,
a total direct style. But that's one thing Magic has always been good at, and that
yeah.
is
Adapting.
making content based off of pop culture. Like, how many memes and references are there to old movies and stuff? There's a bazillion. This is what Magic's always done, even since I was
Yeah.
a kid. So
And they took
Lorcana's massively successful. You get these partners in a year or 2 years from now, assuming it's still all happening. You know, Magic is releasing sets that are specifically targeting that crowd, the ones that never played before.
yeah.
I don't know exactly what IP would do that, but there are IPs that, you know, are near and dear to their hearts that could draw them into Magic, and that's what Magic's good at. So does that happen? I don't know, but historically that is what happened. So we'll see how it plays out.
I mean, they're doing Fallout, they're doing
I
Final
know.
Fantasy, they're doing
I just think about it. All they have to do is find the right IP, and they
Fallout
can
is such a
pull
bigger IP than I
ton of
thought
those
it would
people.
be. Thought it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the movies or the show's coming out, right? Amazon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just saw the preview will be dropping soon. I don't know if it's a show or a movie. I can't remember, but I think Amazon's doing a Fallout something, and the first preview is going to drop soon. So, of course, it's going to be aligned with the Magic cards, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're doing
Right,
these like
of course.
cross-platform IP
align
plays.
with things, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And guess who they're doing it with? Amazon, right? The Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. Now Fallout. What else is it? Like, what else is Amazon doing? Because look
Is
at their
Amazon
shows.
doing Doctor Who?
I don't think so. But you see what I'm saying, though? The IP alignment and then the box dumps and the everything. It feels like Amazon.
I wonder how
and Magic
Doctor
are
Who's
getting
gonna do.
real tight. I don't know. I know that's one of those, like, there's a big demographic. I just don't know how much they care about Magic.
Right. Because that collector box is going to be interesting to watch because it's the first of its kind, really.
Yeah. When is that out? Do you know?
I think it's next month.
I knew it was sometime soon. I just couldn't remember when because I remember seeing the previews for it. So
October 13th.
There's a lot of stuff hitting in October. Yeah, it's going to be a wild year. Always past the summer, right? Fall gets busy again.
Yeah. I think we're in the summer doldrums, and then
yep. Been saying that for weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, go out and touch some grass. There's nothing to worry about right now because nothing's happening.
And then hopefully you do before things hit, because things.
That's right. Because then if you're in this world, you're going to be all over all the madness because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yep. It'll be fun. I'm fine. I think we see summer doldrums. I think things pick back up. I do think that overall the market trend is downwards just because of the macro environment. And speaking of that, and a point of proof, Rudy did a sale for patrons the other day. What was it, Friday? What was it? A case
Flesh
of
and Blood, a case of Dust Till Dawn, and a case of Everfest.
And the per box price was like $60.
61 or something.
Yeah, which is insanely low, way below market. Yeah, so he just repriced it because anyone who bought it, like, that's what they're at, right? On top of that, he didn't sell out, which is crazy. He usually sells out.
Yeah, the 50% marker hit like in 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, but then the next day it was only at like 80% or something.
Yeah. And he did a last call.
And it was like the final call, and that's the lowest I've seen his final call at in a long time. So yeah, market price on Dust Till Dawn booster is 87. So you're talking $27 discount. That's crazy.
They have some ways to go then. Again, and so that kind of has me concerned, and why I'm not going to be going crazy on bright lights is because, one, I'm not playing a mechanologist, and two, if Dust Till Dawn was a moderately specified set for light and shadow,
what does this do?
What does this do if it's just mechanologist?
Yep, 100%.
And I think you're going to have a lot of people still keep on their train of getting the same amount of boxes, opening it, and then not needing the cards and selling them. So I don't see the singles holding up incredibly strong, besides the like super playable stuff.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. The only
They
contingency I'd put on that is if it really doesn't sell well at the box level, then the cards will be super expensive because no one's going to open them.
Exactly. So you always have that kind of teeter-totter.
Yeah, exactly. That balancing act.
But then you also have the tunic in there. So that does help.
I guess that's true. Yeah, you do have that chase. That's actually a good idea that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So I wonder if there will be any other chases.
Yeah. I mean, tunic's pretty big. If they did a lot, it would be a little bit too much probably.
Yeah.
There's got to be at least a dash chase card, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's going to be something in there that like activates the armor, makes it easier to get that mechanism.
Or I wonder if we get Dash's Starvo version. I call this every set, but
you do, and we have yet to have any of them, even though they promised them.
I know, because they
I don't understand. They said. I 100% agree, and it has yet to show up. I don't know what happened.
And if Dash doesn't happen in this one, what set's it gonna be?
I know. I don't know.
I'm calling it again.
All right, it's official this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But anyways, point of that was really just to say that, yes, we're in a slump in the TCG markets. And yes, I do think it's a longer term slump actually across many asset classes.
Yeah, it's not a card collection.
It's not a card thing. It's an interest rate thing, actually. And I'll probably go over the macro implications of how all that works on the next market update if I remember. Actually, I'll take a note on my market update sheet. Talk about macro.
Yeah. Then you also have student loan things.
Yeah, that's going to have an impact. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that are coming to head right now that will end up. It's going to reduce this hobby's prevalence. It just is. And so what happens with the markets? And I think Rudy's been calling it out of the past couple of videos. He's like, if they don't adjust down, it's going to just tank prices on everything. And frankly, he's talking about Hasbro in general. I don't think Hasbro is going to change. I think Hasbro is literally being, I don't know how else to describe it, like the publishing houses when Amazon came for Borders. Does that make sense?
I don't follow.
So Amazon took out Borders, the bookstore, right?
Right. But didn't take out Barnes & Noble.
Well, they kind of did. By comparison,
no, I know.
They're mostly gone, right?
Yeah. I love that story.
Yeah, they used to be huge. They used to be literally one or two in every town. Bookstores were common in they were everywhere. And they're all gone now for the most part with a handful of exceptions. And it's because Amazon came after it. And Amazon came after it by partnering with publishers and getting publishers to basically direct sell through Amazon, cutting out those middleman stores, i.e. LGSs, i.e. distributors.
Right. So instead of making your own card game, make a Magic set.
So what basically Amazon is, and think about this IP tie, that even speaks to that partnership even more. It basically means people like Rudy, people like your distributors, people like your LGSs are all being Amazoned. And being Amazoned means being killed because that's what they do. They target a market that has enough throughput of volume, economic value, whatever. I'm not sure exactly what metrics they use to identify their targets, but that when they do that, they go after all the distribution chain and essentially become faster, more efficient, and cheaper. And they'll even underprice the market. So they'll sell, like you're seeing with these dumps, they'll sell way under market to get market share. And then once the competitors are all gone, they are essentially a monopoly, not fully, but close enough that they own the market. They get the majority of the value out of the market. So I have a feeling that's what's happening at least in the WotC world. The rest of them, obviously that's different, but do LGSs survive without Magic?
And so that's the question. You start losing shops, all these smaller TCG communities.
Gone. Yeah, it's a interesting wild time. It's looking like it's going to last for a while, especially with the interest rate thing. Like I said, I'll talk about on the market update video, but the interest rate thing plays into this too, because it changes the way capital moves through the system and what is going to happen. It's going to have a lot of one thing that blew my mind when I started looking at this. We haven't had an environment like this since before venture capital existed, actually right around the time it was invented. So venture capital came out of Silicon Valley and that sort of thing. The last time the market had high interest rates and high inflation was around the time Silicon Valley first came to be. And VC really, venture capital. Silicon Valley actually predated that a little bit, but the VC model. So the entire industry I work in may fall apart, collapse, and disappear if this doesn't shift back to a looser money standard, and I don't think it's gonna.
When, like, what time frame? Like the next year?
Years. Yeah, it'll take time. All this stuff is slow. I don't think LGSs are gone like in the next year. They're probably gone in the next 5 years, though, if this continues. You know?
Yeah.
The timing part's always the hardest to call, but the mechanisms are pretty easy to see. And once some of them start moving, they're like a train. You can't stop them. They don't turn on a dime. They take a while to play out and ripple through the system. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll try to get some good talking points together so I can talk through it on my market update video. But yeah, I've been looking at this a lot, and it's going to be crazy trying to navigate this different world. Very different world.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, at least LGS, maybe they just shift their focus towards Warhammer like me.
Yeah. I mean, that might actually be their solution. Their salvation will be miniatures.
Other games.
Yeah. Other types of games that bring people in.
Because I mean,
ours luckily does D&D, does like all sorts of
stuff. How much money does
so.
D&D bring into the store, though?
Probably not that much. That's a good point, because you just buy the books.
Yeah.
Sometimes the models and stuff, but it's not like a Kill Team where they have a seasonal release and you're buying $100 worth of stuff every 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, because it's been interesting, because I still watch a lot of YouTube, but I listen to a lot of miniature stuff now, and they talk about how, like, the store owners, like, they'll have store owners on the podcast and stuff, and they'll be talking about how it ebbs and flows. And these are predominantly miniature stores, but also have cards. And they talk about how when a new army box comes out, it's like a gold rush for them. Because Games Workshop the past couple of years has been having such a hard time meeting demand on products. And so it is unlike cards where everyone's told not to pre-order. In this hobby, you pre-order. And so stores can accurately know demand.
Right.
And so then they can announce their pre-order window, and then usually they get enough to fill the pre-order. There have recently been some high demand things where they weren't able to keep up with the pre-orders.
Allocation or whatever.
They weren't able to get as many as they got pre-orders.
Allocating plastic minis. Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, because Games Workshop went through that whole thing, like, with Brexit.
Yeah. And, oh God, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And so, like, the ratio of cardboard to plastic affects tariffs and stuff.
Right.
And so they had to, basically that's what happened with Curse City, and why I was so excited that I was actually able to get a copy was because it sold out like day one. And then they were just like, because they had this whole hype season leading up to it about expansions and all this stuff, and then they realized they could only make a very little amount.
Oh my God.
And there was a second wave like a year later. But it's still like they really didn't do anything with it. They didn't support it like Blackstone Fortress, which is the 40K version, because they couldn't. Which is just, they didn't have a base of players to market to because they couldn't get enough of the product out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's a whole like secondhand market with the miniatures now. And
it's
pretty wild.
That. Yeah, I definitely see that with X-Wing. There's several ships that you can only buy the old ones, the pre 2.0, and they have upgrade kits. So they have like the rule adjustment stuff out there, but the actual ships you can only buy secondhand. They don't exist anymore. So it's a pain in the butt for some things. Thankfully, I don't play any of those factions that it's really important for. But
yeah, that's part of the reason why I picked the Space Dwarfs, because they're a new army and nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Brexit, I was listening to the radio on the way to camping, and Fallout Boy did a "We Didn't Start the Fire." You know that song, that Billy Joel song, "We Didn't Start the Fire." Yeah, and it's like all these like pop culture references for the time. Well, when Fallout Boy redid it, which I didn't realize because I'd actually heard it on the radio before, but I just didn't pay attention. It was just like background noise. They redid all the lyrics, so they talk about modern pop culture, and I was like, this is really well done. They like, you know how it's like really fast paced lyrics. It's like almost like not a rap, but you know what I mean. Like they reference a ton of things within a few lines. They did it, and Brexit's one of the things they reference, but they reference everything like Sandy Hook, Brexit, Trump being impeached, like everything, Obama, something like just tons of stuff. I was like, wow, good job, guys. Like you rewrote the song. It still sounds like the original so much so that I didn't notice the words were different the first time I heard it. But it's like all these modern pop culture references, good and bad. They kind of follow the same pattern as Billy Joel's version of it. I was impressed. I was very impressed when I actually listened to the words. I was so impressed I actually missed my turn because I was listening to the words so close. I was like, wait, where the hell am I? But yeah, it was worth a listen because you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. Oh my god, all this stuff happened in the past like 3 years. Yeah, it's like when we go through the list of murder hornets and all the things that happened. You remember?
I mean, I still say Harambe was the tipping point.
Harambe, yeah, exactly. What was the tipping point?
2016, Harambe.
Yeah, Harambe. But it's interesting because like the chorus is, we didn't start the fire. It's always, burning since the world's been turning, right? Is the idea. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, it's just another generation facing similar challenges as was in the 80s sort of thing. Just different. But yeah, it was wild. I thought it was a pretty good remake.
Yeah. I'll have to listen to it after this.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
But cool. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
I think we touched
Baldur's Gate's amazing. It wasn't mentioned in that song.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate's pretty good. Enjoying that a lot.
Yeah, me too. Was it Stellar? What's the Bethesda one that's coming out soon?
Stellaris? No.
It's not Stellaris. Something.
Starfield.
Starfield, yes. I'm looking forward to that too. I haven't beaten Baldur's Gate by then.
I don't have a...
You have no desire for it. That's fine. No. I'm totally going to be a space trucker. You can't stop me. I love space trucking.
No, I'm pretty content right now between 40K and Baldur's Gate and my Thursday Armory. So
yeah, I got time for all of them. It's fine. I just hope I beat Baldur's Gate because I have this tendency to jump to a new game and never go back. So I need to beat it before that comes out or before I shift over to it.
Yeah. Well, I'll drag you back to Baldur's Gate. We'll go on an adventure.
Well, true. Yeah, I do have the multiplayer component of that. That is one reason to like not worry about it so much because I'll continue to do that.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Cool. Well, that does it for this week's podcast. Tune in next week where we have next week's podcast where we talk about next week's topic.
That was lame.
Have you?
Have a good one.
Wait. Before we end, for the people that stuck all the way around, if you do enjoy me talking about things, I have a comic book channel where Murphy and I talk about comic books. It's called Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. And in there, every week, I start with, this is the top 5 comics for the week. They were last week's top 5, but now they're this week's top 5. And next week, they'll be last week's top 5. And next week, we'll be talking about that week's top 5. And every week, I do it slightly different. It's never the same.
Yeah, I'm so confused with those lines. I have no idea what you just said.
It's just what comics they are relative to the week that you're in.
Okay.
It makes Murphy laugh.
It sounds crazy. Anyways.
We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, have a good one.